Well, I'm sure you all have heard by now the Diddy trial is pretty much all but over. They still have sentencing. He got acquitted, as you can see, on the most serious counts. I'm gonna go through the counts as well. The two that he got found guilty on, they both carry a maximum of 10 years. I think he's going to get less than 10, no more than 10. And I know his defense team was trying to, they offered a $1 million bail so he could be at home while he wait for sentencing and then go from there. And then he may even get some time served since he's been locked up since October 2024. But did he get off not scot-free, but better than people thought? I mean, at this point, I don't think he's going to get 20 years, which will put him at 76 coming out. I mean, if that were to be the case, then that would really sting. But like I said, I think he's going to get 10 years or less, and he'll be out of jail before he's 70. So he won't lose too much time on his life, and then just keep his businesses together while he's in there, and he'll actually be all right. And this wasn't the big nail in the coffin. I'm interested to see what Jaguar Wright wants to say about it. And who's to say Donald Trump may not pardon whatever he gets from these other two counts that he's found guilty of. I know Jaguar Wright has been saying stuff for a while now, calling him the diddler and everything that he's done and what she feels he's guilty of. A lot of stuff that wasn't even brought up in this trial. I definitely want to see how she feels on the reaction. She said it's Diddy, then Jay-Z is next. I don't know. But yeah, definitely everything that she was saying, the jury didn't see fit. And so it's actually, they've been saying it's a nice partial win for him. You know, it's not nail in the coffin, like I said. So, like I said, he was acquitted of the most serious counts. And then, here's a picture of how he looked after they read the verdict. The reaction earlier this morning. And so he was really, he was grateful. And that's just a little bit of how he looked there. And then what's happening now? The verdict was mixed. Criminal trial acquitted him of the most serious charges: racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. So here's what I was saying here. Combs could get a sentence of up to 20 years. I don't think he's going to get that. The maximum is 10 for each of the transportation. The defense has asked that he be released, like I said, while he's awaiting sentencing, and the judge is expected to make a decision on that request soon. After the verdict, Diddy faced a courtroom gallery. He clapped, and a lawyer for the accuser, Cassie Ventura, said this verdict is not their desired outcome, but hey, it is what it is. But Ventura is grateful for the 2 convictions, and that's where we at. That's what it is at this point. So now let me go to this next tab, and I'm gonna give you all a little bit of video of what happened. Here we go. Let this advertisement run.
USDA choice ribeye. Woo! That must have cost an arm and a leg. How can you even afford to barbecue these days, am I right?
Yeah, didn't cost that much at all.
I can see that now.
Kid, no jumping off the low price sign.
The lowest prices of any national grocery store.
Listen to your mom.
It's an Aldi thing.
Here we
Crossing
go.
the wires right now, Sean Diddy Combs is found not guilty on the racketeering conspiracy charge in this federal case. The verdict on the 4 remaining counts are not read yet. Here's another alert. Combs found not guilty in the sex trafficking of his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Here's another one. Combs found, okay, so this is count 2 now. Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs found not guilty of sex trafficking. And that applies to the girlfriend who went by the pseudonym as the name Jane. And CB, I'll bring you in. I want to read one more alert here because some of this seems to be a bit of a duplicate as it's coming in. Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution with the former girlfriend who I just mentioned as Jane. So those are 5 quick alerts that just came up on the Reuters wire, and we're awaiting more from inside the courtroom as we speak. Does that line up, CB, with what you have down there in court?
Bill, so what I'm looking at, count 1 through 5, the only count that I see that Diddy has been found guilty of is count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution as it pertains to Diddy's ex-girlfriend and accuser, Cassie Ventura. The other 4 counts I am seeing. Excuse me, let me backpedal a little bit, you guys. This is all breaking in. We're dealing with rolling thunder out here. So I'm seeing Diddy has been found guilty on 2 counts. The transportation to engage in prostitution counts, count 3 and count 5, as they pertain to Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, and another former girlfriend who testified under the pseudonym Jane. What I am seeing right now are guilty verdicts on count 3 and count 5. And I can tell you that prosecutors, when they argued that Diddy transported these women in male escorts across state lines to engage in prostitution, they pulled up a slew of flight and bank records, going line by line, in some cases to jurors, pointing out hotel stays, lengths of hotel stays. They also called in law enforcement investigators as summary witnesses to explain these lengthy, extensive records that they had pulled in this case. I think it's very interesting that these are the charges that these are the only charges that jurors found Sean Diddy Combs guilty of: transportation to engage in prostitution. And also, to argue these charges, prosecutors called male escorts to the witness stand who testified about how Diddy paid them, in some cases, hundreds to thousands of dollars to have sex with Cassie and him. And at this point, right now, we can see from this verdict sheet that Diddy has been found guilty on count 3 and count 5. He has been found not guilty on the most serious charge, racketeering conspiracy. He's been found not guilty on count 2 and count 4. Those are the sex trafficking counts. The only counts he has been found guilty of are the transportation to engage in prostitution. And I want to say that comes with a possible prison sentence of 10 years in prison. Of course, we're dealing with breaking news, so a lot of information is coming in, and we're working to learn more. But there is a crowd gathered here outside the courtroom. I'm not sure who is among this crowd, but Bill and Dana, I know you've been watching the trial closely, and you know there are a slew of Diddy supporters out here who have come every single day. It looks like what appears to be one of Diddy's supporters is out here in front of the courthouse explaining to cameras perhaps why he believes someone he supports was vindicated of the most serious charge, racketeering conspiracy. There are hundreds of cameras, and we're waiting to get some more color from inside the courtroom.
You got it.
But we know that jurors came back with this ultimatum today.
CB, I'll let you go for the moment so you can gather some more news down there. I just want to repeat the main headline, and that is this: Sean Diddy Combs acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering. The racketeering is the most serious charge. That was count 1. That would have put him behind bars for the rest of his life, not guilty on that charge. So to recap, of the 5 counts, 3 not guilty, Dana, and 2 guilty in Manhattan Federal Court, New York City.
So there you all have it. Found not guilty of, the worst. And, you had a lot of supporters out there.
Secretary Linda McMahon on this, who joins us now, along with Riley Gaines, former NCAA swimmer and Outkick contributor. She also...
Sorry about that. So you all see, he had a lot of supporters out there, people explaining why he got off, things like that. And here's just the whole full list in front of you of everything and all of the counts. Count 1, RICO, not guilty. That's the real big one. Count 2, Sex trafficking with Cassie Ventura, not guilty. Count 3, Mann Act. Transportation with Cassie, guilty. Count 4, sex trafficking with Jane, not guilty. Count 5, Mann Act transportation of Jane, guilty. So it's mainly just taking them across state lines, and that can be kind of tricky because I've heard other men say a lot of men are guilty of that, just driving from another state to another state with their lady friend, and they get a hotel room and they have sex, and then there you go. So it's it's that's a sticky situation in terms of transporting people to have sex. But that doesn't mean he's gonna get the maximum 10 on each one of those. I don't think he will either. It's not like he's some type of actual pimp out in the street that's doing this and got several other women, and again, you didn't see a whole bunch of people coming out accusing him. It was more so just the federal government trying to get him, but he actually beat the federal government, it looks like, in this case. And then let it be a lesson learned, for him and any other future celebrities. Don't do this. Whatever sexual act you like to do, that's fine. But don't transport people. You know, I'm not saying, I don't know nothing about the relationship with him and Cassie and what the intent was. It was supposed to be marriage, but there's a way to have a relationship, whatever it is, with a person without getting caught up in transporting them through any type of sexual nature. So you can avoid stuff like this. Now, there's probably me and you probably wouldn't get hit with it. We don't have Diddy's money, but whoever in the future hears this video and you in the industry like that, hey, let it be a lesson learned. Let everybody let it be a lesson learned, even not on the RICO stuff, but the possible transportation of someone across state lines, even if it's just your lady friend, for the men, and for the women. So you all see the 5 counts right here. Federal RICO violation can result in a 20-year sentence. Transportation to engage in prostitution charge to carry maximum of 10 years. Sex trafficking by force or fraud or coercion can carry a 20-year sentence. So, and now who's next? Now with this is all but over, you got Smokey Robinson, Shannon Sharp, Tyler Perry, Fat Joe. These are all 4 individuals accused in something regarding sexual misconduct. But these all, I think Tyler's, that's a civil case too. Shannon, civil case. Smokey, civil case. No one's facing any jail time. Fat Joe, civil case. I don't think there's no criminal charges in any of that. So those people just want to get paid and get out the way in this case, So we still got those to deal with. Other celebrities, Lil Durk, but that's don't have nothing to do with any type of sexual misconduct. That's off in October. Tory Lanez, we'll see what happens with that. He's still in jail himself. And so, let it be a lesson learned to all of them. I don't know what the outcomes are going to be of Tory Lanez and Lil Durk. The other 4 guys who's just being sued, I know Smokey Robinson has countersued. Shannon Sharp says he's going to fight it. Tyler Perry said it's a scam. Fat Joe spoke out against his accusations, so they're not bowing down. So yeah, it's been a crazy time for all of these men who are all in the industry this year, and just all of these accusations coming out from people. So hopefully, they are really taking this all in, and any current celebrities and anybody who not a celebrity yet, but you may be in the future, take heed. Too many famous people have gotten in trouble in the past to where Diddy shouldn't have even been in this situation. It's people who've come before him, not necessarily being charged with a RICO, but just sexual misconduct. It's just stuff to like, hey, calm down. Whatever you're doing, have to be sexually disciplined. Number 1. So you don't get charged with things like this. But I think he made out well. I think he got off, easy in this case. Not super easy, but it's not something where he's looking at life in prison. People kept saying it's over for Diddy. They made all of these documentaries on Tubi about him. It was just documentary after documentary. So I wonder will we see some of his other celebrity friends speak out now that this is over, because everybody's been so quiet, so silent. And let's see if what's going to come about. Are they ready to speak up on it? We'll see. Obviously, the stuff, like I said, that Jaguar Wright talked about, we didn't see get brought up because Jag had a lot of other information about other people and what's been happening, stuff that happens at these parties. But none of that was brought to trial. I guess that's a separate trial for that, and just certain people, names weren't mentioned like we thought, because everybody was thought there was going to be so many names revealed. It's going to be the end of the industry and all of that. There's a picture of Diddy after they couldn't reach a unanimous verdict on the racketeering charge on Tuesday. So, but everything changed today once he found out that they had reached a not guilty. So he's probably just worried at that point about, if they was trying to, he didn't know which way it was going to go. But like I was saying, there's no criminal enterprise or anything like that. I didn't think they were able to convict him on that, and the RICO was not going to go anywhere, and it didn't. So, that's where we're at with it. There'll be more news to come with the sentencing. I want to see if they're gonna let him out on bail, as well as he awaits sentencing, so he don't have to sit in the jail cell. He got a nice little victory over the government. He's able to hit them with a 1-2 punch they didn't have, because they have a 95% conviction rate, the feds do, but this is not what they were looking for, and they normally don't, lose like this. So this is where it's at. The charges they really wanted, they did not get. And, like I said, I think Puffy came out of this not too bad, despite what other people may think or feel, or him being a monster or a womanizer. I know we saw the tape with Cassie and him at the hotel. I'm not excusing that. You don't do that. Back in 2016. Again, hopefully everybody learns from this and what not to do. This out here in this world. So you're not facing charges like this. Even if some people say, hey, they just have this money, they want to try and get you on something because you upset them, whatever the case may be. If you walk in your straight and narrow, when they do come after you, okay, come on, let's get it. There's not going to be anything that you can put in there to say, okay, yeah, we got you on that. Nope. They won't be able to legally try and disrupt your life. That's all I'm saying. Because they'll see and watch what you're doing, and then when you do make them upset, if we're going to go off of that conspiracy, then they say, okay, now we're putting charges on you. Was letting you get away with everything you were doing, but you said this or you took this back, and so now we're about to get you. So that's where we're at with it. We'll see how them other cases play out. Like I told you, there less consequences in those. They're just civil trials. No one's facing any jail time. Will Jay-Z be next? Like Jaguar said, I don't know. Jay's doing fine right now. Will Trump pardon Diddy for the rest of because now you're looking at the whole transportation of sex thing is just taking people across state lines, and then having sex with them. It's not, the worst thing when they accuse you of taking people across, transporting them for sexual acts and things like that. No one lost their life. And it's people who've been convicted of worse sex crimes in jail right now. So nobody's life was lost. If Trump does pardon him, he may take that down. Trump was accused by Stormy Daniels of sexual misconduct, things like that. He didn't get in trouble for it. So looking at these smaller charges just off of the sex transportation, Trump might say, hey, pardon him a little bit down the while, down the aisle, down later on. I don't see him doing 10 years on both charges. Well, he'll be 76 years old getting out. That I don't see it. So, I mean, he's made out pretty good. And knowing him, when this is all said and done, he'll probably try and do some music. He'll do something. He's still, I guess, relevant with hip hop and the industry, all of that. It is what it is. But I'm sure he's just happy that, with the outcome and what he got, and now he can move on with his life. And hopefully he doesn't get himself in this situation ever again. But other than that, let me know what you all think of the guilties and the not guilties. Is it what you expected? It's what I expected. Do you think he should have gotten guilty on all 5 counts? Do you think he should have gotten not guilty on all 5? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. There's all this Diddy news is steadily ongoing, so we'll get more with the sentencing down the line. I'll cover that once it comes through. Send any topics or videos you want me to discuss to creegier.mj@gmail.com. That's down in the description of this video. cregier.mj@gmail.com. And send any topics or videos you want me to discuss to that email. And other than that, I'm out. This bad boy didn't get life. It is what it is. Everybody stay disciplined.